right, so Kerry Werner, little worrisome going into stage 5 here.
Yeah, well, you know, everything just had to kind of go right. I had like a 42-ish second buffer, and so I knew that like if I didn't place in the enduro and Tyler won like 30 seconds, then I'd only have like 12-second gap. So basically I knew that I just had to stick on Luke and Tyler for the finish, and whatever happened in the enduro happened. The enduro went okay, I got third in it, and Tyler got second, so I only lost 10 seconds to him. And then
does that stress you out at that moment, going, okay, there goes, oh, you don't know that at the time? Yeah.
Well, I kind of figured, actually, just because the way we went into it. Like Luke led, I was second, and Tyler was third, and Luke was nuking the enduro because he had to try to get as much time on Tyler as possible.
And you absolutely can't flat.
Exactly, dude. And then I flatted in warm-up, and so I'm just like, flatting is on my mind, like, very keenly. So I kind of like, you know, did my best to manage that gap to Luke, but I definitely was conservative. And then Tyler was behind me, so I'm sure he was pissed because he's going behind me and I'm like letting this gap open up, and he's just like watching this, like he had like what, 16 seconds or so into on the gap for Luke, so he immediately knew that he lost time.
It was a hard day. We started hard for sure. The enduro kind of early on in the race made it tricky because Luke was only, I'd say 15, 16 seconds behind me. So if like he did really well and I didn't do so good, then it was kind of over there. So a little cautious to start. He kind of went for it. I was on Kerry's wheel. So, I mean, there was one spot between us, so it came pretty close by the end.
My kind of backup plan B, or actually probably more like plan A, was to just try to crush the enduro again, and I got it. It was a slim margin, but I was hoping I could get somebody between me and Tyler, and that would have been it for second. I think Kerry was probably, I mean, realistically, it was going to be hard to close down whatever 35 second, 33 second, I don't know how much it was, 40, I don't know. Anyway, it was probably just a little out of reach, and but I was thinking I could probably get Tyler if I could get like Cody or Carson to like slot in between me and him and the enduro. So I chatted to both of them yesterday. I was like, all right, guys, come on.
just pedal harder.
Yeah, just go. And Cody was like, oh, I'll try, dude. And, anyway, it didn't work.
Yeah. So anyway, after the enduro, I was just like, cool, now you just have to stick with these guys. But man, they were throwing haymakers, and like the pace was quick all day. Like it never let up, and I kept thinking like, you know, when's this gonna chill? And it never did.
You know, I wasn't able to get away, but no one was, so it was kind of just one of those things. So much drafting that it kind of all stuck together.
I wanted to get away in the single track, so I pushed as hard as I could there. I was like, if I can get just a small gap enough to open it up once it opens up onto the double track for a while. But just like you get a bike length, maybe 2 bike lengths, and you get excited and you go, and then they close it back up again. So it was hard to get away. And then by the time we opened it up to the shale trail section that just took us all the way back here, it was like, okay, it's all for the stage now. There's no time gaps for this today. So we all sat up and just, it was like, who's gonna take it over? And I think Kerry was just like, oh, whatever, let's just get this over with. So he took it up.
Came down to a sprint finish. Tyler led out of the last bit of single track, which was really close here to camp, and just like stayed on the gas. Luke was second out of the single track and I was third, so I like just the yo-yo effect of that. I got gapped a bit, and like I tried to get there, but they were going so hard, and it was only like a minute effort out of the single track, so I just like tried to keep that gap to within 10 seconds, and I think I was at like 5 max.
And a good sprint into the last little single track. I wanted to lead there just because like you come out of it so fast and there's not much time for passing after that. So a small gap coming out of it, held off Luke until we came into the last little downhill, and then a sprint up the finish, and he came up beside me. I just gave it a little bit more in the end and managed to get him. So
a little stressful, but at the same time, like I knew I had a bit of wiggle room, and so yeah, I crossed the line and I knew I had it, which was
But that comes down to after 5 days of racing, and how many hours of racing? Nine?
Yeah, less than 10.
So less than 10 hours.
More than 10.
More than 10 hours of racing, but in the end it was around 20 seconds gap.
Yeah, 20, like high 20s to Tyler, And then Tyler was only 6 seconds up on Luke at the end of everything. So it's like,
When's the last time you had a TSE this close?
I was thinking, man, this might be like one of the closest TSE finishes in history, at least for the men's side of things. So, yeah, stressful week.
Congratulations, gentlemen.